Hi, I'm Jim Paxson. On our show tonight, you'll meet the man who's considered to be the father of modern wildlife conservation, Aldo Leopold. Then we'll show you the latest in preparing fresh, healthy food for your family. You'll also meet some special kids who love fishing. All that and more right now on Arizona Wildlife Views.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sportfish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Hello and welcome to our show. Most folks don't realize that Aldo Leopold's first duty station was right here in Arizona. In our first story tonight, we'll look at the influences that shaped his innovative ideas and later became known as the land ethic.
There are some who can live without wild things, and some who cannot. I'm glad that I will not be young in a future without wilderness.
Considered by many to be the father of wildlife management and of the United States wilderness system, Aldo Leopold was a conservationist, forester, philosopher, educator, writer, and outdoor enthusiast.
Aldo Leopold was born in Burlington, Iowa in 1887. Aldo spent his youth roaming the marshes of the Mississippi River. His dad taught him how to hunt. His mother taught him how to explore and how to pursue creative things like opera. In fact, he couldn't get binoculars, so he used her opera glasses to watch birds when he was a young man.
His mother also assured that he had a background in philosophy.
We shall never achieve harmony with the land any more than we shall achieve absolute justice or liberty for people. In these higher aspirations, the important thing is not to achieve, but to strive.
When Aldo was young, he reveled at exploring swamps and wetlands. He was disturbed by the plowing of prairies, by the damming of rivers, by the draining of wetlands, and the changes those actions brought on the landscape. He attended Yale, where he was trained as a forester to manage lands.
Aldo Leopold arrived in Holbrook, Arizona after graduation from Yale Forestry School. He came to the White Mountains right where we're standing.
When he arrived in Arizona, he began to see things differently. He began to see a bigger picture. He began to see himself as a member of a larger community that included the land and the animals. He was more about ecosystems. He was more about man as a member of an ecological community, not a conqueror or a dictator, but one who worked in concert with his surroundings.
There was considerable conflict between the ranchers and the fledgling Forest Service over the regulation of grazing. Aldo married into a ranching family that grazed sheep on the Santa Fe, but from that union came harmony and understanding.
Aldo also saw that the very things that were used to decimate wildlands, the axe, the plow, the cow, and fire, can be used to restore wildlands if used appropriately and ethically.
The land ethic simply enlarges the boundaries of the community to include soils, waters, plants, and animals, or, collectively, the land.
Ethics direct individuals to cooperate with each other for the mutual benefit of all. One of his philosophical achievements was the idea that this community should be enlarged to include non-human elements such as soils, waters, plants, and animals, or collectively, the land.
That land is a community is the basic concept of ecology. But that land is to be loved and respected is an extension of ethics. A land ethic, then, reflects the existence of an ecological conscience, and this, in turn, reflects a conviction of individual responsibility for the health of the land.
Leopold's greatest contribution was a land ethic, an essay that's in Sand County Almanac. In it, his premise is that man is a member of the community. The ecological community it's the land, it's the animals, it's the plants, and man's a member. And we have to treat that community with respect and be a partner in the management of it.
The land ethic is a result of understanding the interrelationships of the natural system. It's not something that Dad all of a sudden realized. It took him a lifetime to understand how interrelated we are with the natural system. And never did we have perspective on this until we all finally grew up.
In 1935, Aldo and his family initiated their own ecological restoration experiment on a worn-out farm along the Wisconsin River outside of Baraboo County, Wisconsin.
It was totally decimated. All it had on it was an old shack. Everything was in bad shape. There he began to evolve in his philosophies on caring for the land, and he was active with his family in restoring that area to be productive.
Planting thousands of trees, restoring prairies, and documenting the ensuing changes in the flora and fauna further informed and inspired Leopold. To conservationists, that shack has come to symbolize man's effort to build a healthier relationship between people and nature. Today, people come from all over the world to see what Aldo started so many decades ago.
It's astonishing to me and exciting to see how the shack has attracted people. My father would be absolutely amazed.
Aldo was a hunter from his youth to his very last year on this life. He found reason in hunting.
Aldo and the district ranger Wheatley shot some wolves, and they got there in time to watch the green fire and the old she-wolf die. Aldo was a hunter. He thought less wolves meant more deer. Neither he nor the mountain agreed in later years.
We reached the old wolf in time to watch a fierce green fire dying in her eyes. And I realized then, and have known ever since, that there was something new to me in those eyes, something known only to her and to the mountain. Well, I was young then and full of trigger itch, and I thought that because fewer wolves meant more deer, that no wolves would mean a hunter's paradise. But after seeing the green fire die, well, I sensed that neither the wolf nor the mountain agreed with such a view.
We need the wolf, but it must be managed. We need to be able to have the right number of wolves with the right number of elk with the right number of deer. It's a study in contrasts.
Only the mountain has lived long enough to listen objectively to the howl of the wolf.
We gained many perspectives from Aldo Leopold and a base from which to grow. But science can't stop. It's an ever-evolving basis of how to manage these lands so that they're here for our children and our grandchildren, and even their children. It's a science that's going to grow, and we must continue to strive forward. I think that we've come through an era of conflict. The 80s and 90s and even into this century, we need to get away from that. We need to come to the table. We need to attack issues instead of each other. We need to be busy about seeking solutions. The land depends on us to help out with the management, as do the animals that reside on the land. Remember, we're one part of the community, and we always want to seek solutions for the betterment of the land and the communities that live on it.
Like winds and sunsets, wild things were taken for granted until progress began to do away with them. Now we face the question whether a still higher standard of living is worth its cost, and things natural, wild, and free.
You've probably heard of carnivores, herbivores, and even omnivores. But what's a locavore? Coined in 2005 by Jessica Prentice of the San Francisco Bay Area, a locavore is a person interested in eating food that is locally produced, not moved long distances to market. The locavore movement in the United States and elsewhere was spawned as a result of interest in sustainability as well as eco-consciousness. Jonathan Odell introduces us to this growing diet trend.
This spread has really caught fire around the country. In recent years, people have become increasingly aware of where their food comes from. We're down here today at the Phoenix Open Air Market to check out some local vegetables. So farmers markets like this have been cropping up everywhere. People want to know that their food's coming from a local source. They're supporting local businesses, but also that the food is pesticide free. They want to know where it's raised. They want to talk to the farmer instead of the big industrial stuff or things that you get at a grocery store. What's interesting is when you go to food markets like this, you start eating seasonally, the things that are available in season and where you're living. And so the seasonality of food has come back, unlike a grocery store where you can get pretty much any product year round. And then of course it's shipped worldwide to that grocery store.
Some people become locavores for health reasons or simply because they believe that local foods taste better. Many locavores find that their diet helps them learn new things about the food they eat and the community where they live. But there are other benefits to consider.
Some of the benefits to buying your food local is that your money stays local. In addition to that, you'll be able to find produce that you won't be able to find in a store. Like today, I bought an heirloom tomato that I'm not going to be able to find in other stores.
Farmers markets are one of the most important shopping venues in the local food movement. Farmers sell their meats and poultry, dairy, eggs, produce, and other items to local consumers. Shoppers also have the opportunity to talk to the farmer who grew and produced the food being sold and ask questions about pesticide use and farming methods. Depending on where you live, there are many options for buying local food. In addition to farmers markets, locavores also shop roadside and farm stands, winter markets, food cooperatives, community-supported agricultural groups, and sometimes at supermarkets, just like the rest of us. In addition to buying your produce locally, John's going to show us another way to eat locally.
In addition to buying your produce local, I'm going to head over to Encano Park and show you another way you can also eat locally. Yeah, we stopped here at Encano Park. We're less than 5 miles from the open air market we were just at. And the reason is because this is kind of the overlooked locavore opportunity. We're here at Encano Park with trout fishing. This lake is stocked annually with trout, catfish, bass, sunfish, and it's really the overlooked opportunity. There's an interesting paradigm shift when you start to look at the Arizona Game and Fish Department in a new way as it relates to food. The department is actually probably one of the largest, if not the largest, meat producer in the state. I was looking at the numbers a while back, and in 2013, we actually harvested over 1.5 million pounds of elk meat, which is pretty astonishing. Probably annually, the Game and Fish Department has enough meat harvested from fish, fowl, game animals and all that, that we could probably feed everyone in the state of Arizona at least for a day. So when you look at wild game and fish meat, it's local, it's organic, it's free range, it's grass-fed, it's all those things that when you're looking for those kind of meats, it's already there. And besides that, it's some of the leanest, most protein-packed, nutrient and vitamin-rich meats around, a lot healthier. The average American diet really is about 4 to 8 meats daily. You know, your standards: beef, pork, and chicken, of course turkey. If you're lucky, you'll move into things like lamb, duck, fish.
Now that we've got our fish and veggies, it's time to put them together for tonight's meal. We meet up with John in the kitchen for stuffed trout.
Okay, now we're back from the lake. We've got 2 really nice trout from Encano Park, and then we've got some produce from the Phoenix Open Air Market. What we're looking to do is make stuffed trout. The way we do that is we'll be butterflying the trout, which is removing the bones from them. That's usually one of the toughest parts of fish, but hopefully we'll make it a little easier for you. We've already cleaned it here, but what we still have is this adipose fin. Surprisingly, this has quite a few bones in it. We're going to run the knife on each side of it just to be able to remove it. And we just delicately work our way down. If You can go all the way to the backbone. You'll feel it on the inside. But if you work on either side of it, you should be able to work down to the backbone. And once it connects on the other side, it'll pull it right out.
So now we're left with all the rib bones. John explains his favorite technique for removing these delicate bones.
You just try to slide the tip of the blade underneath the first set of rib bones, working out towards the head, and work in tight to those bones as I start to slide up. We'll get to the end and they come right out. We just do another set, usually about 4 or 5 bones at a time. Works out real nice.
Repeat the process with the remaining bones on this side. Flip over and repeat on the next.
Okay, so now we've got all these rib bones here.
Once both sides are done, use your fingers to feel for missed bones.
Get down here towards the tail.
The tail gets real shallow, so work carefully.
Let the knife do the work. You don't need to pull it very hard. Okay. Up here towards the head.
The head comes off next.
I'm going to go ahead and just slice through the back right behind the head. Right as soon as it gives. Back gives way to that skull. You should be able to cut it free right away from the bones. Do the same on this side. A little bit attached there. Perfect. Same on the tail. A lot of times, instead of using a knife, I like to use my fingers here, but we're going to cut through. And they go right through the tail. And we've got a nice filleted out fish. Okay, now that we've got the fish all butterflied out, we're ready to start the stuffing process. What we'll do first is we'll actually start with our citrus.
John's using Tangelo instead of the traditional lemon or lime.
What's really interesting about Tangelos, oranges, grapefruits, they really add a different taste and flavor, a brightness to the fish. And so we'll just add a little bit of Tangelo. This one's really juicy. I only need 1/4 of it for the fish. But it really, you know, it helps. A lot of people use lime or lemon just for the sake of that fishy taste. Now this one really won't have a lot of that. But the next thing we'll do, let's add a little bit of salt and pepper. Just season them to your own taste. Do the same thing with some salt. But we'll lay out some of our fresh spinach greens on the 1/2, just to add a different dimension to the fish. Kind of like a fish salad almost. We want to add some tomato, that nice heirloom tomato we got. So we'll get a little bit deeper in there. Okay. To put our stuffed trout. So I'll go ahead and cut 2 of these in half. Lay them over right there. Just trying to cover them over there. Next we'll add a little bit of dill. Move some of the spinach out of the way. Tomato to give us room. I'm just gonna chop some of the dill. Just for flavor there. We'll do some here. We'll fold on top there. Okay. And add some olive oil. Drizzle some of that over the fish here. We're going to add just a touch of some Parmesan cheese. Right. Then we can actually fold the fish back over.
Use toothpicks to hold it all together, and you're ready to make the baking pouches.
Make sure each one's going to be long enough for the fish. A little short. But you'll lay your fish on them. It'll be perfect. I'm going to do just a touch more olive oil on top and a hair more salt, just to give that nice skin good flavor to it. We fold it over. Just creating a little pouch. You're just folding the edges up. Now by now you've also got your oven preheated to 350 degrees. And what these will do is they'll just sit on a cookie sheet in the oven for about a half an hour. I'll turn this one this way so you can see. Fold it over, edge to edge. Just get a little bit there. One more time to seal in all that. Place them on the cookie sheet. And they're set to go in the oven. All right, so we got the fish all done now. Let's take a look and see how they turned out. Just open this pouch again. Nice and steamy. Oh, there we go. Wow, got two pieces there. All right, now you need to cut it open. Get this off the side. Pull these toothpicks out. Lovely fish. Trout cooks up really, really nice. Get a little bit of that in there. Get some tomatoes here with it. Really excited about that. Bite of that fish. Hot but good.
Keep, okay? Oh, not quite as far, but you did good. Let her rip.
Well, today is our annual Red Mountain Fishing Day that we hold for the special needs or special ed students in the Mesa Public School system. We've been doing this for about 16 or 17 years now, I believe, and we keep the numbers generally between 80 and 100 students, as well as their teachers and helpers that come out. And then we have members of the Arizona Game Rangers Lodge, as well as Game and Fish volunteers and Game and Fish staff that come out and help the students fish.
I need some more.
Game and Fish Department, you do a lot of wonderful things, but there's not many things you do that make you feel as good as working with kids catching fish. And some of the kids we've seen for years and years, like old Ben over there that caught that big trout, he is like the champion fisherman.
Yeah. And I caught him all by myself.
And we provide them with a lunch, and we give them prizes, trophies for certain categories of fish, and we have a raffle with prizes and so forth. And one of the things that we all experience, we talk a lot about encouraging the heart at Game and Fish. Well, this is one of those activities that does that for everyone. These students are so appreciative and they have such a great day, but I really think the people whose hearts are strengthened the most are those of us that help out and participate each year. It's just a wonderful day for everyone.
Thank you.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. For more information, visit our website at azgfd.gov. For all the fine folks at Arizona Game and Fish, I'm Jim Paxson. Thanks for watching.